Okay, so the other option is a little bit more involved, but you're going to have, again, 2 days where it's not going to be great to get outside. So this might be an interesting way for you to spend some time um, and explore. In this case, you're going to actually explore the state of New Hampshire. So what I am going to provide for you, and I'm going to share my screen with you here, is I'm going to provide you with a map of the state. So here is what that looks like. And hopefully you can see it. If I zoom in, you can see all of the different kind of major, I wouldn't call them all major, they're mostly very minor, cities and towns in the state of New Hampshire. In fact, if you look down here in the southeastern corner, Northampton isn't even on the map. I can see, if I zoom in, I can see Hampton. There's Hampton right there, right on the coast on Interstate 95. But Northampton is not on this map. So there may be towns and cities in New Hampshire that that you know that aren't on this map, and that's okay. This map is just kind of a guide to help you. So there are a ton of places on here. I was trying to think earlier if I've been to most of them. I think I've been to most of them. There are a few exceptions. The exceptions are kind of some of these towns out in the western part of the state I haven't been to. I've been to Claremont. There used to be a very big bike race in Claremont every year, and we would go out to that. These cities here, these are just going to be small towns, Wentworth and Warren. I've never been to either of those. But the majority of these other towns in the southern part of the state, I visited at one point or another. I've been all the way up here in a town called Errol, New Hampshire, which is way up north. It's almost at the very top of the state. So if you look up here by my cursor, try to zoom in, there's Errol. And Errol is right on the state line with Maine. The Androscoggin River flows through Errol, and it's a great place to go fishing. So we try to go fishing there every year in the spring. The furthest town, the last town you reach before you cross the Canadian border, is all the way up here as well. It's a town called Pittsburgh. And if I try to zoom in for you there up top, my cursor is not being very friendly with me. You'll see it all the way up top on my cursor. That's a town called Pittsburgh, New Hampshire. And there's not a whole lot in Pittsburgh if you've ever been up there. There are a couple of really big lakes called the first Connecticut Lake, the second Connecticut Lake, and the third Connecticut Lake. And that's pretty much the only thing that you'll find up there in the top of New Hampshire. So what I thought you could do is you could use that map to help plan a little trip to some of the cities in New Hampshire. And what I thought would be appropriate for you to try to do is let's try to do four different stops. So that you're going to start, everyone's going to start in the same place because we're all in Northampton. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go back to that map. So I'll share that screen again with you. And we're going to pick a spot that we think we might want to go to. So let's see. If I'm looking at my map, I'm going to pick the town of, Let's go with Londonderry, because I used to work in Londonderry a very long time ago. So I'm going to go to Londonderry. Now, how many miles is it from Northampton to Londonderry? I have no idea. I wouldn't expect that you have much of an idea. I could give you an estimate as to what I think it would be, but then we're going to check it on Google Maps. So I think it's probably about 30. I'm going to go with a little more than that. 30, 35, 36 miles to Londonderry if we left Northampton. So let's go with 36. So if I go to Google Maps, I'm going to share Google Maps with you now. There it is. So you should be seeing Google Maps. And in order to use Google Maps, you're going to need to click on this little blue direction button. So we're going to click on that. And we need to type in two pieces of information. We need to type in our location. So if we're going to start, we're going to do Northampton, New Hampshire. And then I said, I want to go to Londonderry, New Hampshire. And it's going to give me, my computer runs on time here. It's going to give me a distance. Oh my goodness. My estimate was not very good. So if we look down here, the actual distance, if I were to drive, would be 44.6 miles. So for our exercise today, we're going to do an estimate for that. So I'm not going to write down for my number of miles, I'm not going to write down 44.6. I'm going to give an estimate. So if I was talking to someone, I would never, ever say to someone, well, Londonderry is 44.6 miles away. You're never going to say that unless someone wants such precise information. You're not going to need to say 44.6. But if we are speaking to someone else, we would typically say, well, Londonderry is about 40 miles away. So I'm going to use that as my estimate. So that is one stop. My challenge to you is to do 4 different destinations. So if I start at Northampton and then go to Londonderry, that's 40 miles. The next thing I want to do is I want to pick a new place to go to. So now I'm at Londonderry and I need to pick a new spot. So if I go back to my map, I'm going to look and I'm going to try to find an intriguing place that I can go to. So from Londonderry, I want to go to, let's go to one of these places I've never been to before, Bellows Falls. So let's go from Londonderry, we're going to go to Bellows Falls. And I'm going to type that in to my Google Maps. So you should be seeing my Google Maps again. And this time I want to make sure that I'm not starting in Northampton. I'm in Londonderry, New Hampshire. And I'm going to Bellows Falls, New Hampshire. So let's see where that takes us. My goodness. Okay, look at that. So if I take this blue route here, it is 85.3 miles. That's quite a distance. I didn't think it would be that far, but it's a long ways across the state of New Hampshire. So a good estimate for 85, we talked about this earlier. I could say it's close to 90. I could say it's close to 80. You know, depending on maybe some other information. I see that this other distance is 94.6. So I think a good estimate for Londonderry to Bellows Falls would be 90 miles. So how does that seem for a challenge? You could try to do 4 stops. If you feel good and you feel comfortable, try to do more. If you just want to try to do 1 or 2, and then you want to pop on Thursday during our math meeting to ask some questions, that's cool too. But I want you to try something. So remember, there are going to be 2 choices. You can try this, or you can just try kind of the straightforward activity. The other cool thing with this, especially if you're new to New Hampshire, if you haven't been around the state for a very long time, like I've been around New Hampshire for 35 years, so I know the state really well. But what you can do, which is really cool, is on Google Maps, you can use this little guy in the corner, and you can drop him. If you click on him, you can drop him in different places. So you can drop him down in Bellows Falls, and it'll show you pictures of what Bellows Falls looks like. So this is like downtown Bellows Falls. There's not a lot out there. It's a very rural place, but that's kind of a cool way for you to get a look at what's around the state. Because there are lots of places that I haven't been. There are lots of places that you haven't been that are worth visiting. And in a time where we can just, we can't really do much. But one thing you can do is you can go for drives with your family. You might want to check out some of these local towns that maybe you've never been to. Maybe you've never been to Southampton, which is just down the street from us. You can kind of get a preview as to what that looks like. So I think this is a lot of information. I'm kind of worried about how long this video is going to be. And I told people today I was going to keep the video short. So I'll pop online tomorrow morning and let you know that this is up. I said tomorrow morning. This morning, because it's really Wednesday. It's not Tuesday night at 10 o'clock. Well, I'll pop on with you this morning and make sure we're clear. And if you're worried about this, you don't need to try this. You can just try the straightforward thing. And then come on Thursday and ask some questions. And we can do a couple of these together on Thursday if you're feeling uncomfortable with this. Okay. So that's it for tonight. I will see you. I'll see you this morning in a little bit. Bye-bye.